Hi friends, Namaste. I am Ananta Sharma. Now I propose to discuss what is Argala Raja Yoga. To teach Argala is a challenge, and to understand it also is a challenge. Please carefully follow. You repeat the uh, lesson because you can have the video with you. Repeat it and not twice, thrice, four times. You listen to it number of times. What is Argala? First, you identify the planets which are aspecting the Lagna in the horoscope. In the D1 chart, I repeat, in the D1 chart, you first look at the Lagna and identify the planet or planets which are aspecting this Lagna in the D1 chart only. Sometimes there may be one planet or two planets or even three planets, and there may not be any planet at all. Sometimes, or why sometimes, several times, no planet aspects Lagna in certain charts. Then no problem. So you first identify the planets aspecting the Lagna. Then, if that aspecting planet has planets in the second house, fourth house, and 11th house from it, there must be some planets in the 12th, second house from that aspecting planet. There must be some planets, one or two planets in the fourth house from the aspecting planets. There must be planets in the 11th house from the aspecting planets. So 2, 4, and 11 are the places of Argala. So if all the four houses are all the three houses, second, fourth, and 11th houses from the aspecting planet are occupied by planets, it is called full Argala. The planet is endowed with Argala, full Argala, Purna Argala. Then there are houses what are known as Pratibandhaka Argala Sthanas. Pratibandhaka Argala houses are counter Argala houses. The counter Argala houses are the 12th, the 10th, and the 3rd. 12th, 10th, and 3rd houses from the aspecting planet are called counter Argala places. So this is, let us see the order. The planets in the 12th house from the aspecting planet, they counter the Argala caused by the planets in the second house from the aspecting planet. That means the 12th house is the counter Argala place for the second one. The 10th house is the counter Argala place for the fourth house. And the third house is the counter Argala place for the 11th house. Okay, so if there are planets in the second, fourth, and 11th houses from the aspecting planets, without these houses, we're having no planets in these houses, that is counter Argala places, the 12th house, the 10th house, and the third house from the aspecting planet, then that is called Nirabhasa Argala. Nirabhasa Argala means unobstructed Argala. That gives full result. Then Argala, should it have only benefic planets or malefic planets? Yes, it may have benefic planets and it may have malefic planets also to some extent. But sometimes benefic planets are only useful. Sometimes malefic planets only are useful. How? I tell you. So there are some professions. For example, doctors, lawyers, or judges, military, then police, sportsman, etc. But these professions, they indicate the karakatvas of the sixth house. Sixth house has the karakatvas of deaths, diseases, quarrels, disputes, wars, etc. So, sixth house signifies wars. That means it signifies soldiers. Sixth house signifies disputes, legal disputes, etc. So, that signifies lawyers and judges. The sixth house signifies disturbances, law and order situations, and the police. Police are signified by the sixth house. Then diseases. Diseases are treated by doctors. So doctors also are signified by the sixth house. The Arudha of the sixth house is Shashtapada, A6. Then Karaka of the sixth house is GK. And so the Yogada combines with the sixth lord or GK, then the native may be a soldier or a judge. That means the GK is a malefic house. GK is a malefic karaka, sixth karaka. Sixth house is a malefic house. So if Yogada has Argala, endowed with Argala, and there are malefic planets in the Argala places, the second, fourth, and 11th houses, then those malefic planets are useful for these professions. So, if you are looking into the chart of a judge or lawyer, or a doctor, or a police, or a soldier, then if you find one aspecting planet, aspect in the Lagna, and there are planets in the three Argala places, all these three Argala places, and if all the three Argala planets are occupied by malefic planets, and the counter Argala places are all vacant or not occupied by any planet, then that Argala, Krora Argala, malefic Argala is very much useful for natives of these horoscopes. I will show you the example. Okay. Then there are what are called counter Argala places. You have seen counter Argala places are the 12th, the 10th, and the third house. Then we come to the next stage for Rahu and Ketu. If Rahu or Ketu is the aspecting planet, so what to do? You should not count Argala houses in the direct order. You count the Argala houses in the reverse order. Second house, fourth house, and 11th house from Rahu or Ketu in the reverse direction. That means if Rahu is there in Mesha, he is aspecting the Lagna in Leo or Scorpio or even Aquarius. So if Rahu is there, second house from Rahu is in the normal direction, it is Varshapha. But you must see, if the second house must be occupied by a planet, it is the Pisces Mena. So the second house from Rahu in the reverse direction is a Mena. So the counter Argala place for Mena is Mesha. Sorry, Vrshapha then. So you count the houses in the reverse order. The Argala houses are the 12th, the 10th, and the third houses for Rahu and Ketu. Then the counter Argala places are second, fourth, and 11th houses. These are the counter Argala places. Here, one most important point is several times, very often, it is our habit to say, if moon is connected to the second house, for example, we may take moon to be present in the second house, or moon may be aspecting the second house. We consider both as the same, equal in force. But here in Argala cases, the the houses must be occupied, not aspected. The planets must be occupied by the planets, either benefic planets or malefic planets. In certain horoscopes, if the Argala houses are aspected by malefic houses, that is good. It gives a very good Raja Yoga. Then in certain horoscopes, suppose for example, you see the horoscope of a teacher, So if the Argala places are occupied by malefics, he is not an ideal teacher. He is more of a rowdy or a gonda, not a teacher. Then the Argala houses, three Argala houses. Suppose one Argala house is occupied by a benefic planet like Jupiter or Venus. He may be exalted even. Then the other Argala places, fourth and 11th, are vacant. What happens? Yes, it is Argala. If one Argala house is occupied, it is called Ardha Argala, 50% Argala, half Argala. If two of the three houses are second, fourth, and 11th houses. Two of them, second and 11th, or fourth and 11th, second and fourth, any two of the three are occupied, we say it is 3/4 Argala. All the three are occupied without the counter Argalas, any counter Argalas, we say it is a Purna Argala or Nirabhasa Argala. That is what Jaimini calls it. So again, there is one more thing to be understood. Number of planets. If there is only one planet in the Argala of the second house, one planet in the fourth house, no planet in the 11th house. So how many planets are there in the Argala house? Two planets are there. So the result is of one range. Suppose there are two planets in second house, one planet in the third house, three planets in the 11th house, then that is another range of Argala. So Argala Karas, Argala Kartas, how many? 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 3, 6 planets. So you must count the Argala Kartas also. You see their strength, that is, are they in exaltation? Are they in friendly house? Are they in Mula Trikona? Etc. etc. All these things are important. And there are two more Argalas to be understood. One Argala is Subhargala. The fifth house or ninth house from the aspected planet must be occupied by benefic planets only. No malefic planets in interference is warranted here. Suppose if the fifth house is occupied by moon, the ninth house must be vacant. If ninth house is occupied by, say, Jupiter, the fifth house must be vacant. So again, the counter Argala. If fifth house is Argala plus, ninth house is counter Argala plus. If ninth house is Argala plus, the fifth house is counter Argala plus. Then this is pure benefic Argala. There is one more Argala which is very important. That is, from the aspecting planet, if there are three or more planets in the third house from the aspecting planet. Suppose Jupiter is in Capricorn. Okay, though he is debilitated there. So imagine Jupiter is there in Capricorn. He is aspecting Lagna in Saturn. There are three planets, Saturn, Mars, and Mercury in Meena. So all the three are malefics. Saturn is a malefic, Mars is a malefic, and Mercury, because he is debilitated there. And also Mercury is with the malefic, so he is a malefic. If he is with benefics, he is a benefic. You know this principle. So if there are three planets from the three or more malefic planets only from the aspecting planet, that Argala is called Viparita Argala. Viparita Argala. There is no counter Argala place for this. Though it is caused by malefic planets, it gives good results only. It gives very good results. So these are the these are the principles of Argala. Then what is the reason, or is there any logic between the Argala and counter Argala logic? I think it is nowhere written there. I think there is one combination called Bandhana Yoga, Arishta Yoga. Bandhana Yoga, that is yoga for imprisonment. What is that? How is that yoga formed? That yoga is formed when the second and 12th house from Lagna or Lagnadipati or Atmakaraka, or Karkamsha Lagna, or Aruda Lagna. The second house and the 12th house, that is one pair. Third house from and the 11th house, another pair. Fourth house and the 10th house, another pair. Fifth house and the 9th house, another pair. Sixth house and 8th house, another pair. How many pairs are there? So 5 or 6 pairs are there. So if any one of these pairs has equal number of planets, there is one planet in the 12th house, there must be only one planet in the second house. If there are 2 planets in the 11th house, there must be three planets only in the third house, like this. So that is how there is a planetary structure in the chart that is called Bandhana Yoga. That means they need to get imprisonment. So here there is no restriction of malefic planets or benefic planets. If both are benefic planets, the bandhana may be just a few hours or even for few minutes. He may be taken to the police station and immediately he may be sent home. And if there is one malefic and one benefic, so you may be detained there for some time. If both are malefics, both are debilitated malefics, Rahu and Ketu, then the native is treated with the latis and he cuffs and his hands are tied and dragged to the police station and keep there in for several days or even for several months. So depending upon the intensity of the malefic nature of the planets occupying the second house or 12th house, the third house or 11th house, fourth house and 10th house, fifth house and 9th. So this kind of Bandhana Yoga, when it is caused by equal number of planets in these pairs, second and 12th, so these are just Argala places. Second, fourth and 11th are Argala places. The 12th, 10th and 3rd are counter Argala places. If 10th house and second house have the same number of planets, what happens? It becomes Bandhana Yoga. If 4th house and 10th house have same number of planets, what happens? It is Bandhana Yoga. So I think so. To avoid the Bandhana Yoga, Jaimini must have restricted this. That is, if one house is occupied, the other house must be vacant. Further, if there are 2 planets in the Argala place, but there are 2 planets in the second house from the aspecting planet, then if there is only one planet in the counter Argala place, 2 planets are there in the second house, there is one planet in the first house or 12th house. So planets in the Argala house are more in number than the planets in the counter Argala place. Then the Argala is not neutralized. This counter Argala planet cannot neutralize or counter the Argala caused by 2 planets in the Argala place. That means the number of planets in the Argala houses must be more than the number of planets in the counter Argala places. Then only the Argala is disturbed. Otherwise, if there are more planets in the Argala house and less number of planets in the counter Argala place, then there is no problem. There is the Argala holds good. So also the number of planets in the Argala houses, whom we call Argala Kartas. Number of Argala Kartas also determine the strength of the Argala Yoga. I already told you this point. If there is only one planet, the other 2 Argala places are vacant. It has some effect. And if the 2 houses are occupied, it has 3/4 Argala. And there are number of planets, 2 planets or 3 planets, then the Argala gets much more effect. And there is one more point. Strength, giving strength one against other. That is movable signs. Chararasis are there, stellar rasis are there, and the dual signs are there. In Jaimini, stellar rasis are more powerful than, more strong than the mobile signs. And the dual signs are the strongest. They are stronger than the planets in the stellar rasis. So the strength of the signs, stellar rasis are least strength. They have least strength. Stellar rasis, they are stronger. And the dual rasis, they are still stronger. They are the strongest. So if the aspecting planet is in a dual sign, that aspecting planet, if he is in a dual sign, and if he is endowed with Argala, that is the strongest Argala. Suppose he is in a stellar Rasi, a fixed Rasi, he is endowed with Argala. Then also he gives some good results. But in comparison, so the planet in the dual sign is strongest. He gives the strongest results. This is all about the Argala in the Jaimini Sutras. Here, we must understand that we have two texts of this Jaimini astrology. One text is Jaimini Sutras, we know. Another text is Bruhat Parashara Hora. Bruhat Parashara Hora Shastra, people call it BPHS. The BPHS also deals with chapters like Argaladhyaya, Arodhadhyaya, Arodha Paladhyaya, Karakansha Paladhyaya, Upapadhyaya, then Raja Yoga Jaya. Like this, all the chapters they are discussed in the Jaimini Sutras by the sage Jaimini are already discussed in the Parashar Hora. Who is the first and who is the next? Who copied the other? Who is original? Who is now? We are not bothered about all these things. Let the historians look into it. So generally, all the rules relating to upapada are the same, both in Parashara Hora as well as in Jaimini Sutras. But in Argala, there is a difference between that Argala discussed in the Parashara Hora and that Argala discussed in the Jaimini Sutras. How it is different? In Jaimini, there is no mention of the aspecting planet. In Jaimini, Jaimini insists on finding out the Argalas if the planet is aspecting the Lagna. One planet must be there which aspects the Lagna. That planet must have planets in the Argala places. He should not have planets in the counter Argala places. That is the case in Jaimini Sutras. Here, there is no such Bandhana or condition. Any planet, any house, from the first house to the 12th house, you must try to identify Argalas. So, for example, if Lagna is there, if there are planets in the 2nd, 4th, and 11th houses from Lagna, and the counter Argala places are vacant, then the Lagna is endowed with Argala. So the man is very strong, very healthy, and attractive personality. All first house first house significations are all amplified. Then the second house has Argala. That means the 2nd, 4th, and 11th houses from this second house are occupied by planets. Good planets. Naturally, for Dhana Yogas, we use the good planets. Then that native becomes very wealthy. So like this, you see all the 12 houses. But the difference is for the cadent houses, 6th house, 8th house, and 12th house, if they are endowed with Argala, if there are planets in the 2nd, 4th, and 11th houses from the 6th house in the horoscope, 6th house from Lagna, 6th house from Lagna as planets occupying the Argala places from that 6th house, then the man has ill health, lot of debts, and Shatru, Roga, runas. He always suffers from the enemies, from deaths, or from diseases. Similarly, if the eighth house has Argala, then what is the result? The native is suffers poverty, he suffers disease, always disease, and he suffers humiliation, public insult. What is public insult? See, one of the most important combinations, quality, karakatvas of the eighth house. You please remember this very well. All the people, all the classics, all the scholars say, if there are benefic planets in the eighth house, naturally these karakatvas are lost. Okay, they are correct, no doubt. But there is one important karakatva of the eighth house, which is very much protected by any benefic planet occupying it. That is public respect. If eighth house is occupied by malefics, the man does not command respect in public, say assemblies, or if he is in the company of some, say 10 people or 15 people, even among relatives, friends, people cut jokes against him and try to insult them. That is the reason. That is the result of this combination of the eighth house from Lagna occupied by malefics. So this is the Parasara angle of Argala. So here I want to add one more thing. That is not only Argala. You forget about Argala. The fourth, second, fourth, and the fifth houses are very, not 11th. You take away 11th. Second, fourth, and the fifth houses are very important for any karaka or for any house. Any house, any karaka, atma karaka, amacha karaka, etc. Any pada, dara pada, uttara pada, rajya pada, etc. If the second house, fourth house, and the fifth house are occupied by benefics, and third house and sixth house are occupied by malefics, that is the best combination. If the A10 Rajyapada has the second, fourth, fifth houses occupied by benefics, that means he rise very high in his profession. So the second, fourth houses, if the second, fourth, and fifth houses from Atma Karaka or Karaka Lagna are occupied by benefics, it is a Raja Yoga. The third house and sixth house from Karaka Lagna or Atma Karaka are occupied by malefics, it is again a Raja Yoga. So it is very difficult to remember all these things just after listening to it once. Year after, when we discuss any chart, we will discuss Argala and the results of Argala also. Right. Thank you.